News 25 is brought to you by Bees Embroidery and Garment Printing, specializing in custom and personalized decoration of gifts, garments, and more. Call 775-727-9444. News is also brought to you by J.K. Nelson Law. Call 727-9900 today for your free consultation. If you need a lawyer, you need Nelson.
Tonight, Nye County declares a state of emergency, and a female is taken by ambulance following a crash. News 25 starts now.
This is News 25 with Deanna O'Donnell. News 25. Local coverage you can count on.
County commissioners anticipate additional resources for an upcoming music and art festival. It's Wednesday, August 28th. I'm Deanna O'Donnell. Well, county officials held a special meeting this morning to discuss a declaration of emergency in order to receive money for anticipated costs surrounding the Alien Stock event happening in Rachel, Nevada. Well, Rachel is in Lincoln County, but the local administration believes that there may be some services and supplies needed from our area. They also warn local residents to be prepared.
During today's Board of County Commissioners meeting, discussion was had regarding the approval of the declaration of emergency for the Storm Area 51 event, which will be happening on September 19th through the 21st.
Good morning, Commissioner. Scott Lewis, Director of Emergency Management. Beside me is Captain Barukowitz from the Nye County Sheriff's Office. And we believe this is a prudent procedure to undertake. Number one, it gives us the ability in the event of a true disaster or something that's overwhelming our systems to simply execute, and this is a preparedness piece, and we suggest and recommend that you move forward with the item today.
Just say ditto.
We're just here to support the chief.
If the clerk is up there, I would just like to request that to make sure I get to sign that and the rest of us down here instead of being signed up there. So.
Commissioner Blundo asks if we have any updated information regarding our situation and what we may or may not expect. Captain Barukowitz states that it's our advice for people not to come, and as a law enforcement entity, we're hopeful that people will heed the law.
Sure. The information is ongoing, and I honestly, almost daily, we're receiving additional information through law enforcement intel and also through the state. You know, I wish I could have a crystal ball to tell you if any of it's going to be accurate. It remains speculative. However, if you're looking at the supporting materials that is being referenced to us, and I don't know if it's prudent to discuss it here, but the information that we're receiving in piecemeal would suggest that, quite frankly, we could have overwhelming population surges in various parts of the county, and that is what we're preparing for. It's not simply just managing the event, it's also managing our routine and day-to-day calls that may occur as well. Our biggest concern is to have an incident within the event that would require all resources to manage that particular piece, whatever that might be, whether it's significant fires, motor vehicle accidents, any other type of mass casualty incident. So we have to pay heed. We're paying a particular attention to all the additional information. I don't know if Captain Barukowitz can speak to some of the law enforcement intel, but we're taking it seriously, and we're preparing as such.
Commissioner Koenig comments that there will be no cell service and that the cell towers are not equipped for a mass increase of people. He speaks more, saying to be prepared for no internet and the possibility of no water to be available. Also speaking that everything's basically going to sell out. Commissioner Strickland advises to all visitors to come self-contained. Commissioner Blundo makes a motion to approve the declaration of emergency and also advises the residents of Nye County to stock up and be prepared.
I think it's important that we should, that community sense and spirit, if anything we can do to help Chief and the Sheriff assist in this matter and help our fellow neighbor. So. Just want that to be out there for the public to consume, and just be prepared.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Aye. Unanimous.
And now Fire Chief Scott Lewis tells us about this morning's single vehicle rollover.
Dispatched this morning for a mutual aid assignment to Highway 178, which is actually the 372, and once you go over to the California state line. For a one-vehicle rollover, unknown extent of injuries, the occupant was stated to have been out of the vehicle. As we arrived on location, we found the vehicle well off the roadway, was resting upright, but it showed significant damage from a rollover type mechanism. The sole driver, the sole occupant, was standing beside, or actually seated beside the vehicle on the ground. We made way to that patient, found that they were injured. We transported them to the local hospital. There was a CHP-related accident, again, a significant accident with significant damage sustained by the vehicle.
Well, the Nye County Sheriff's Office report that a suspect by the name of Mark Edward Hyde has been captured. The 64-year-old was wanted for failure to appear on the charges of sex offender failing to register. The Nye County Sheriff's Office also is asking for information about the whereabouts of a wanted individual by the name of Charles David Charrier. Charrier is described as 57 years old, 6 foot 1 inches tall, with brown hair and green eyes. The suspect is wanted for failure to appear on charges of grand larceny of a motor vehicle. If you have any information, you're urged to contact the Nye County Sheriff's Office at 775-751-7000. You can remain anonymous. Well, the crowds are thick at China's new Costco.
Here's Angela Miles with today's Business First Brief.
Topping our news, Philip Morris and Altria are in talks to tie the knot. That deal would be all in stock and essentially a merger of equals. The two tobacco giants split up in 2008. Altria is devoted to selling Marlboro cigarettes in the U.S. Philip Morris sells cigarettes overseas. The combination creates a mega company that would invest in e-cigarettes and cannabis as cigarette sales are falling. A chaotic scene at the first Costco in China. The wait to get into the parking lot was 3 hours long. The doors opened to a wild scene of customers pouring into the new Shanghai location. Costco sent a text message saying the store would have to close early because it was clogged with customers. Meantime, back in America, investors scooped up that stock.
To find out where you can see us every day, go to businessfirstam.com.
And we'll be right back with your court report.
This segment of the news is brought to you by Pahrump Cardiology, located at 1397 South Loop Road in Pahrump, Nevada. Call 775-210-8333 for an appointment. Dr. Tali Eric, proudly serving Pahrump since 2005.
Welcome back. Well, an alleged animal abuser has his day in court and is released for a short time before his sentencing.
In this week's court report, Chelsea Marshall is sentenced in district court for the charge of grand larceny of firearm. During that proceeding, attorney Daniel Martinez was present with Marshall, who appeared in custody. The court adjudicates the defendant as guilty. Defense addresses the court, reviews Marshall's case history, and moves for the maximum underlying sentence with probation. The state has the victim, who is the mother, and she had a statement to read. The court clerk swears in the victim, the mother. The victim reads a letter from Donna Miller, Steve Marshall, and her own letter. The state reads a page from the PSI report regarding family and submits to the PSI. The defendant addresses the court and thanks the court for the opportunities given, asks for mercy and probation. Marshall could not complete her court-appointed drug program, according to the judge, because she had allegedly tried to sneak in Kratom into the facility inside her private parts. Testimony was given during court that Marshall is the mother of a young child who is in critical condition after being found unconscious after falling inside a swimming pool. Finally, the court admonishes the defendant for her past behavior in the drug court program, then sentences Marshall to a total of $178 in fines and fees, restitution $1,235, count 1 24 to 60 months suspended with 5 years probation, with the first 364 days flat time in D.C. Count 2, 12 to 30 months, suspended with 5 years probation. Count 2 is to run consecutive to Count 1 with all the special terms and conditions, with a 164-day credit for time served. 2020 court dates are now set for both of the brothers accused in the death of their mother back in 2018. Dakota Saldivar appeared in district court on Friday for his calendar call. Saldivar is one of the two Pahrump teens arrested after they admitted to gruesomely stabbing and killing their mother, Dawn Liebig. During that proceeding, attorney Brent Percival was present with Saldivar, who is in custody. The court notes that the case had been previously set for trial and that the district attorney and defense asked for a continuance. Defense states that the request for a continuance is due to the fact that Michael Wilson, the co-defendant's new public defender, Ronnie Boscovich, had just received the case and that she was not ready for trial. According to court officials, Wilson, the co-defendant's case, does need to be heard first. The state does not oppose the continuance. Judge Kimberly Wonker reviews the issues continuing the matter and can force the case to be heard. However, court recites the trial dates and grants the continuance in both cases. Saldivar now has a calendar call, pretrial motions, and jury draw scheduled on May 8, 2020, with his trial now scheduled for June 8th through 12th, June 15th through 19th, and June 22nd through 26th. Wilson's trial is scheduled for March 23rd through 27th, then March 31st through April 3rd, and April 13th through 17th, 2020, with a calendar call on February 21st of next year. Gregory Kokorian now has his sentencing hearing scheduled October 28th. He's the area man arrested and formally charged with 9 felony counts of animal cruelty. During his last district court appearance, attorney Michael Horvath was present with Kokorian, who appeared while in custody. Kokorian entered a plea of guilty to each charge, waiving his constitutional rights to trial and appellate rights. The court accepts the defendant's guilty pleas and sets sentencing. Finally, the court orders an OR release for Kokorian in this matter. Notably, surrounding the circumstances of Kokorian's arrest, investigators say the sheriff's office found that 7 cats had died of thirst and starvation after being left in a locked bedroom without food or water, and that 2 birds had also succumbed to thirst and starvation after being left in a cage with no access to food or water. Kokorian reportedly had countless dead and alive animals inside that home. Law enforcement was called after family members could not reach his wife for a period of time. When they arrived to check on her welfare, they learned that Kokorian's wife had long been deceased inside that home. This is your court report. I'm Eunette Gentry for News 20.
And according to reports, Kokorian's deceased wife was partially consumed by some of the couple's starving animals. The man allegedly has a gambling addiction, which led to the neglect of these numerous pets. Fire Chief Scott Lewis says that a structure fire over the weekend appears to be intentionally set.
Saturday night, we were dispatched for a report of an unknown type fire. We started receiving multiple callers. They indicated that they weren't sure what it was, but it was well up in the alluvial fan in an isolated area. As we were nearing the scene, we then received information that it was possibly a structure fire, so we changed and upgraded our assignment to a structure, adding additional resources. As the Engine 2 crew arrived, they found that the fire itself was so well off the established roadway that we had to utilize our 3 brush truck full-wheel drive to get up to the fire. And there we found 2 fully involved fifth-wheel trailers that were used as fixed structures. Interestingly enough, this had been the scene of a fatal incident that occurred right after the earthquakes that occurred here in the Pahrump area.
There was 2 individuals that claimed that they lived there or that was their property.
It's my understanding that they were, one was a relative and then one was a friend of the other, and that they were working on that property trying to clean it up and were there earlier in the day. However, the fire was much later in the evening and is suspect in nature. There are various states. Some had small amounts of propane and some were just empty tanks. There was a number of plastic fuel containers located on the property as well. It is still under investigation.
And another structure fire, Chief Lewis gives some advice to those who like to light candles inside their home. Paramedics responded to a room and contents fire recently.
Yesterday morning, we were dispatched for a report of a structure fire. As crews arrived on location, they found light smoke showing from the 1-story single-family dwelling. They moved to the interior and found a room and contents fire, that being a bedroom. The majority of the fires is already extinguished. However, they went in there, had to do some overhaul checking for extension, and also completed primary and secondary searches, which in essence means they're checking to make sure all occupants are out of the structure.
It was initially reported that there might have been a female inside there.
That was the initial report. That's why those primary and secondary searches were completed. But what the investigation revealed is that all occupants were safely out without injury.
Is this an accidental fire or intentional?
We're looking at an accidental fire, probably due to an unattended candle left in the bedroom. So it's a reminder to us all, don't leave open flame. Even if you're stepping outside the house for a short period of time, it could have catastrophic events.
And more news on the other side of this break.
You're watching KPVM News 25. Local coverage you can count on.
All right, well, there is a very sweet, energetic dog available now at Desert Haven. Today, we introduce you to Poseidon. Today, we feature Poseidon. Poseidon is a black and white pit bull. He is a male, approximately 2.5 years old. He was an owner surrender and is said to have a lot of energy. He's looking for a home with an active family. If you would like to see Poseidon or any of the other animals at Desert Haven Animal Society, you can give them a call at 775-751-7020. You can stop on by at their location on Ceres Lane behind the Nye County Courthouse right off of Basin Avenue, or you can look them up on Facebook at Desert Haven Animal Society or on the web at deserthavenas.org. Desert Haven is always looking for people who can't adopt animals but would like to sponsor an animal so an adopter can get that animal free of charge. And if you love animals, Desert Haven is currently looking for volunteers. Give them a call for more information. Beautiful markings on that dog. Well, let's find out what's happening in our area schools right now in your student news report.
Hi, I'm Veronica De La Rosa, and this is your student news. The Pahrump Valley High School tennis team has a home game August 29th, this Thursday, against Canyon Springs at 3 p.m. The Pahrump Valley High School girls soccer team also has a game this week against Moapa Valley here at the high school. JV will be playing at 4 p.m. and varsity will be playing at 5:30 p.m. Good luck, Trojans. Early childhood special education screening is going on right now. The Nye County School District is responsible to find and identify children ages 3 to 5 who might have developmental delays. To contact the Nye County School District, call 775-751-4015. The neighborhood cleanup is this Saturday from 9 a.m. till noon. We are looking for teams, organizations, groups, and individuals to help clean up our town. Please meet us at the Bob Roode Community Center off the corner of Basin and 160 at 8:45 a.m. Please wear appropriate clothing and pizza will be served afterwards. For more information, contact the Neighborhood Cleanup Facebook page. This has been Veronica De La Rosa with your student news.
News 25 Weather Cam is brought to you by Lerner and Rowe Injury Attorney's Office in Pahrump. In a wreck, need a check? Call 702-877-1500.
Well, let's take a peek outside right now. We're going to find out what's in store for that neighborhood cleanup and, of course, your Labor Day weekend right after this break.
News 25 Weather is brought to you by Dairy Council of Nevada. The splash of cream in your coffee, the dollop of sour cream on your burrito, the melted toasty cheese on your pizza. Undeniably delicious, undeniably dairy. Enjoy what's real.
Hello and welcome back to News 25. I'm Michael Donohue with today's weather. In Las Vegas, we had a high of 110 degrees with a low of 83. Death Valley, 10 degrees warmer at 120 with a low of 89 degrees. Amargosa, 107 with a low of 75. 103 with a low of 69 in Beatty. Goldfield at 94 with a low of 59. Tonopah at 93 with a low of 59. Carson City, 94 with a low of 59. Fallon, 100 degrees with a low of 62. And finally, Fernley at 98 with a low of 64. Now today in Pahrump, we saw sunny skies. Our high today was 105 degrees. Winds coming out of the south-southwest at 14 miles per hour, 14% humidity, and our sunrise at 6:12 this morning. Now for tonight, we got clear skies. It's currently 104 degrees outside. Our low tonight's expected to hit around 79 degrees. Winds coming out of the southeast at 8 miles per hour. Our humidity at 22, and our sunset at 7:17 tonight. Now looking ahead to our 7-day, we're still expecting those nice sunny skies up through Sunday, and then Monday and Tuesday we're going to have some partly cloudy skies rolling in and some mostly sunny skies by next Wednesday. Now temperature-wise, we're still going to be hanging out in those low hundreds all through Monday, just between 101 and 104 degrees. But then by next Tuesday and Wednesday, we're going to drop down to 99 and 98 for our highs. For overnight temperatures, hasn't changed too much, but now we're going to be hanging out in about those mid to high 70s, just between 73 and 77 degrees for overnights. And now with that, we're going to throw it back to the desk with Deanna.
All right, be careful out there with that heat. That's going to wrap up this edition of News 25. I'm Deanna O'Donnell from all of us here at KPVM-TV and Ace Country Radio. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Good night.